Back to manga videos, and the manga I picked up this time is something I'm interested in seeing if it can get an anime or not. Probably not though, because it's still relatively new. Because the Regalia of the Underdog released back in 2024 and currently only has about 7 chapters. Nevertheless though, it still happened to catch my attention. Going off that, let's talk about the story and what it had to offer. The story is led by a disrespectful brat named Tarta, or Tart. I actually don't know how to say his name. Now, Tar is a boy who thinks he's above all his classmates because of his status, and he actually has somewhat of good potential. The funny thing is, Tar is the type of character that you wouldn't usually have as your main character. He's the obnoxious character that everyone usually tends to hate. Now, in this world, their nation is ruled by a king, so you have to be an exceptional person to be the king. And the way that the next king is chosen, or will be chosen, is by something called the King Selection Exam, aka the King Trial. And Tart believes that he's the only one who deserves to be king. Fortunately, though, he's gonna get taught a hard lesson because of this character right here named Figo. But we'll get to that in a second, because you actually get to see a little bit more into Tar's life, showing how spoiled he is, like how he brought a session on the cafeteria, has everything laid out by him by his father, and how one time someone got fed up with him and smacked him. So his father took all their possessions, obviously with his father spoiling him so much, he thinks the world is his and everything this world has to offer is his too. Well, until he is taught a lesson by Figo. Because Figo called out Tar after the graduation ceremony to challenge them to a duel. Figo does this because he wants to prove that even someone who isn't as fortunate can become a king. Since Tar is already in a bad mood, he accepts the challenge from Figo. Now, since magic and swordplay is very important in this world, without it, most people don't have a chance of becoming much of anything. And Figo sucks at both. So most people assume he's going to lose this fight, except Figo didn't come with a sword nor wand. Instead, he comes with a hammer that he built because he actually is a blacksmith. With that, the fight between Tar and Figo starts, with Tar starting the fight off by throwing a massive fireball at Figo, but Figo smashes it head on with his hammer, knocking it away immediately. And just for now alone, I hadn't known where this fight was already going, because we're told that Figo built a magic reflector into his hammer with a booster. Not only that, but now everyone's cheering for Figo for what he just did, now making Tar the underdog in the story. Even though Tar knows the shift in the atmosphere, he continues to look down on Figo, which leads him to getting smacked. And not too long later, just getting completely overwhelmed by Figo. So Figo is dubbed the winner. Figo is grateful to Tar that he can't leave him in an all-out fight, but Tar can't come to terms with this, making every excuse in the book to why he lost. Even throwing a temper tantrum like a little child. Well, he kind of, kid, but still. It isn't until his teacher laid down the fact that Tar never actually put in any effort into himself, and if he keep going down this path, he cannot become a king. This conversation leads Tar not being dependent on his status anymore, and showing that he can become a king through his own effort without depending on anybody else. Well, not depending on the support from his status or family. And with that brings us into chapter 1. Now, just from chapter 1, I got high hopes for the manga, but until I see more chapters released, the hopes won't be too high. Now, I personally like this, but who cares about that? What did you think about it? But besides that, that's basically it.